The Battle of Denain in 1712 was a pivotal moment in the War of Spanish Succession, 1701 to 1714, and it had significant consequences for England and its involvement in the conflict. While the battle was ultimately a French victory, the role of England as a key member of the Grand Alliance supporting Archduke Charles of Austria was central to the war's dynamics and its eventual outcome. 1. England's role in the War of Spanish Succession. At the heart of England's involvement in the war was the desire to prevent the unification of France and Spain under the rule of the Bourbon dynasty, which could shift the European balance of power in favor of King Louis XIV of France. England, alongside the Dutch Republic, Austria, and other European powers, formed the Grand Alliance to support the Habsburgs, specifically Archduke Charles, later Charles VI, Holy Roman Emperor, as the rightful heir to the Spanish throne. During the early years of the war, England played a crucial military and financial role, providing troops, naval support and funding for the alliance. John Churchill, Duke of Marlborough, one of England's most brilliant generals, led many successful campaigns including victories at Blenheim, 1704, and Ramillies, 1706, which significantly weakened French and Spanish forces. 2. The Battle of Denain and England's declining influence. By the time of the Battle of Denain, the war had been raging for over a decade, and England's commitment to the conflict was beginning to wane. The Allied forces, including British troops, had suffered heavy casualties in earlier battles such as Malplaquet, 1709, and there was growing discontent at home. The British public, weary of the war, began to demand a peace settlement, and internal political tensions between the Whigs, who supported the war effort, and the Tories, who advocated for peace, further undermined the war effort. At Denain, Marshal Villars' French forces decisively defeated the Allied army, including the British contingent led by the Earl of Stair. The French victory at Denain was a crushing blow to the Allied position in Northern Europe, and it marked the end of the Allied effort to secure the Spanish Netherlands. This battle significantly weakened England's strategic position in the war, though it also pushed the country to the negotiating table for a peace settlement. 3. Aftermath and England's peace efforts. Following Denain, England's position in the Grand Alliance became increasingly untenable. The French victory and the mounting pressure for peace led to a shift in England's foreign policy. In the years following Denain, negotiations for peace began in earnest, culminating in the Treaty of Utrecht, 1713. The treaty ended the war and allowed Philip V to remain as King of Spain, but it required Spain and France to remain separate kingdoms to prevent the feared union of the two crowns. The treaty also saw England make significant territorial gains, including the Gibraltar and Minorca in the Mediterranean, and greater control over trade routes, which would shape England's future role as a colonial power. Though the Battle of Denain itself was a French victory, its impact on England was significant. The defeat weakened the Allied position, hastening the end of the War of Spanish Succession and bringing about the Treaty of Utrecht. For England, this treaty marked the end of its direct military involvement in the conflict, but it also secured important territorial gains and solidified England's position as a rising naval and imperial power.